Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is the 11th talk in my series of theological discussions, and the title of this talk is The Lord Works Through Inconsistency because this is who we are. Have you ever started something and then gave it up? Examples of this may be dieting and exercise. Have you ever said to yourself, I don't like the way that I am living and I want to do something about it? And you have a new program in your life, such as dieting and exercise. Or it may be a new sport. Maybe you take up a new sport. Maybe you have this desire to play tennis and you spend money on a coach, or you spend money on training. And you buy the gear, you buy the tennis outfit. Maybe you buy some Adidas shorts and an Adidas shirt. Maybe you buy some Adidas tennis balls, an Adidas tennis racket, or so forth. And you do all these things, and you commit yourself to this regime. And then, as time goes on, maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5 months pass, you just suddenly give up the idea, the desire to actually play tennis at all. This, sadly, is the reality of what it is to be a human being. As human beings, we are very much inconsistent. As human beings, it's very hard for us to be exactly the same all of the time, always, forever, each week, each year, each decade of our lives. This is what it is to be a human being. Human beings, the human beings that we are such complex creatures that we are made up of so many different facets. There's emotions, and there's there's our actual genes. What else could I say? What else can I mention? There's the people around us, the people in our lives, family members, friends, people who support us, people who may not support us. As human beings, we are made up of many, many intricate facets. Being a human being is not simple at all. It's actually quite complex. So what we find as this human being is that we take up things, and then afterwards we discontinue these things. Being inconsistent is who we are, but it's only when we embrace this, when we accept this, that peace grows within us. When we actually grasp the concept that inconsistency is who I am as a human being, as a being created by God, it's only then that peace will grow within me. And what is this peace that I'm talking about? What is this peace that I am talking about? It's a peace that tells me that this is who I am, that I don't have to strive for something beyond this. I don't have to be anything beyond this, because this is who I am. I am an inconsistent being, a being who will do something, and then as suddenly as I do something, I shall discontinue doing this thing. And as time goes on, I shall even maybe, possibly, potentially, even forget that I even did or wanted to do or achieve such a thing at all. This is the same in our religious lives, in our relationship with God. We shall never be at a stage when we can say, I shall never go backwards. We shall never be at a stage in our relationship with God when I can say, I shall never go backwards. I shall never discontinue the things that I want to do in God's name. Because this is what it is to be a human being. This is the great thing about who we are. We never have to be anything other than who we are. And what we are is acceptable to God. Also, we don't have to be perfect before we can begin, but rather it is in embracing that we will never be perfect that gives us the power to begin. As a child or as a late teenager, just say 16, 17, 18, I thought that in my religious journey I would reach a stage where everything would become easy because I would perfect everything. I would basically achieve what I was seeking so much to achieve. Basically, I suppose what I've always been seeking to achieve my whole life is basically to give my everything to God. That's my greatest desire throughout my life. My greatest desire throughout my life is to give my everything to God. And as a teenager, I thought that I would reach a time in my life that when I could basically go at everything at full force, at full strength. I could basically go to war, so to speak, in the name of Christ. I could say to myself, now is the time. I'm going to do this thing right now. From this day forward, I'm never going to go backwards. From this day forward, I'm only going to go forward in Christ's name. But alas, we never reach a time in our lives when we shall never go backwards. But alas, this inconsistency, the inconsistency that we are, is basically who we are. We shall always be inconsistent. I shall always be inconsistent. But it's when we embrace the reality of who we are, that we are these inconsistent beings, that we find peace within us, because it is then that we accept that we don't have to be anything other than who we are. Also, it's when we embrace and when we understand that God accepts us as these inconsistent beings, these beings who will start something and then give it up, and then start something again and then give it up. It's when we accept that God accepts us as these inconsistent beings that this peace grows within us, because it is then that we realize that who we are and what we are is everything that we must be. We don't have to be anything other than what we are. We don't have to be anything more. Who we are as this inconsistent being is acceptable to God. If you like this video, please like it. Share this video with as many people as you can. Leave comments down below, and I would like every one of you to subscribe to this channel, and together we can all do great things for God.